All right, what's up, YouTube? What's up? What's up? I hope everyone is having a great week. I'm definitely having a good, very relaxing week. All right, I spent the week in the South. Was in North Carolina for about 4 days. I had vacation this week, my last vacation for the summer. So I took a little time this week. I didn't make any content this specific week in boxing. All right, but tomorrow night we have Andy Ruiz against Luis Ortiz. Okay, this is going to be a Fox pay-per-view. It's going to be $75, and I will be covering it live. All right, so be here tomorrow. I'll probably jump on live maybe around 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, or if there's some pre-fights, I might jump on a little. I might even jump on earlier, but I will be here tomorrow to cover the fight live. All right, so definitely come through, check me out. We should have a good time. This is a good fight. This is a good fight. No lie. This is a great fight. I think it's a great fight for two reasons. First, these are the top two heavyweights that are with the PBC if we're not including Deontay Wilder. You know, as far as the PBC, Wilder is clearly the top heavyweight. You know, he's one of the best heavyweights out there. But these two have been top 10 heavyweights for years. I think Luis Ortiz has definitely been a top 10 heavyweight for a long time. Andy Ruiz has pretty much been a top 15, and then once he beat Joshua, he was a top 5 type of heavyweight. All right, but right about now, they still around the top 10 range, the both of them. But this is a great matchup because of the styles. Neither one of them backs down from their opponent. You know, I can't think of a fight where I've seen Luis Ortiz really just fight on his back foot for a long period of a round. You know what I'm saying? And Andy Ruiz, being that he doesn't have the length, he's short, he doesn't really have the length. You know, he's always been the type of guy, he's a hooker, you know what I'm saying, with short arms. So he's always going to want to get in range, you know what I'm saying? Use that jab, use that hand speed to close the gap. All right, he's very flat-footed. So he has to work harder to get in range. You know, the fights that we seen him have issues in, for the most part, when we seen him lost to Joseph Parker, which I thought was a draw. But we seen him in the Anthony Joshua rematch. We seen that Joshua had an easy time going, just keeping him outside of range. All right, so Luis Ortiz is a master at range. It's just that Luis Ortiz is just too tough for his own good. And what I mean by that is that I feel like he has the ability to thoroughly outbox Andy Ruiz, but he is a guy that likes to engage on the inside and trade a little bit, leave him in bad positions. You know, he's not as disciplined as far as sticking to the game plan or as far as sticking to whatever's working for him. You know, he's not going to do what AJ did in that rematch. He's not like Frank Sanchez, the other Cuban fighter, who is great at countering punching, but is more of a mover, you know, likes to stay out of danger, is more defensive. Luis Ortiz is not like that. Luis Ortiz gets hit with a good shot. He's going to show you that he's tough, that it didn't bother him. Luis Ortiz is pretty much chinny on top of that. All right. And plus, not only that, he's 43 years old. He's 43 years old, but he's been fighting at an elite level for years as an old man. You know what I'm saying? Even in the first Wilder fight, he was already old at that time. You know, I can't think. I'm assuming he was at least 38 years old, at least in that fight. All right. So, I mean, he's been fighting at a high level at an old age. But one thing about Luis Ortiz is he's very disciplined as far as staying in shape. I mean, he's been in some of the best shapes he's been in his whole career, professional career, since I've been watching him, back when he was all the way back in Golden Boy. You know, we seen him go from Golden Boy, we seen him go to Matchroom. He's been on PBC for years, and he's still in phenomenal shape. You know, whereas Andy Ruiz has gone up and down in weight. Now, the weigh-in was today. I did get a chance to check it out. Luis Ortiz is around 145, which is where he's normally at, and Andy Ruiz was at 168, which is, we've seen him, you know, on his lighter days, he's usually around I said 150. I mean, I mean 245 and 268. I think I said 168. Um, Andy Ruiz was around 268, but we seen him as low as the mid 250s, and we seen him as high in the 280s when he fought AJ in the rematch, and we seen him even higher than that earlier in his professional career. But if we're talking about recent years, Andy should probably be around the 250s, right? Have that high, that hand speed that he has. But I'm assuming the reason why he came in heavier for this fight is not because he's not preparing. I think the reason why he came in heavier for this fight is because of the last fight he was involved in against Chris Arreola, where he was dropped and he was hurt several times. I watched it. I've been doing film study on this fight all week, right? On and off. And it's more so just to try to figure out, who I think is going to win. I'm very familiar with the both of them. I know how they fight. I've been watching the both of them for a long time and just couldn't really pinpoint on who I think is going to win, because I think they both they have their flaws, they have their advantages, and I can see it going both ways. I can see either fighter getting stopped. I can see a decision win for either fighter as well. You know what I'm saying? This is a very difficult pick, at least in my opinion. I believe it's 50-50, regardless of what the odds are saying. Of course, Andy Ruiz is a decent favorite to win here, but I personally think it's a 50-50 fight. But with all that being said, I think Andy Ruiz, coming off of that win against Arreola, where he was hurt a lot in that fight, especially in the first half of the fight. He was hurt a lot. He got dropped, but he was hurt. He constantly kept getting hurt and rocked by Arreola in those earlier rounds when Arreola was fresh. And many of us wasn't really expecting that. Plus, when we saw him lose all that weight, from being heavy against Joshua, we figured that, he was going to be in tip-top form and win in top fashion. And Arreola looked very inspired. He was in great shape himself. And he fought a good fight against Andy Ruiz Jr. All right. Luis Ortiz is also coming from a win earlier this year. I believe it was January, against Charles Martin, where he stopped him. I didn't even check, maybe around 7th round. He was dropped a couple of times, though, in that fight. He was winning on points as far as winning rounds, but he was dropped a couple of times, which was giving Charles Martin the rounds, So with that fight, it just further proves that he doesn't have the greatest chin. The first knockdown in that fight, I remember him walking into a jab, right? Maybe the first or the second one. I know one of the other shots was like a clubbing left hand behind the ear, I think, maybe, or a right hand behind the ear. I'm not sure. But I know one of them was when he kind of stepped in and walked into a jab. And I happened to be watching the Wilder fight with Ortiz this morning. And I noticed that in the second round, and I didn't notice it from before, but I forgot. It's not something that I noticed when I went to the fight, because I did go to the fight. The second knockdown, when Ortiz drops, is ruled a slip. But if you watch it in slow motion, which I did today, you will see that Ortiz got dropped the same way. Actually, Wilder threw a jab out as Ortiz was stepping in to throw a left hand. And Wilder threw a quick jab, and Ortiz ran right into it, connected right on the chin. It did look like a slip. If you watch it in normal speed, it looks like a slip. But if you slow it down, you notice that Wilder didn't get credit for the knockdown in the second round. That is a knockdown. It just happened so quick, and Ortiz didn't appear to be hurt. This is why when Ortiz got back up, or, Wilder went straight at him as if he hurt, because Wilder probably knew that he landed that punch. The ref didn't see it. I don't think the majority of the crowd see it. The commentary definitely didn't see it. But if you're watching it slow, go back to that first fight between Ortiz and Wilder. Look at the second round. If you slow it down, you see that Wilder did connect with a jab. And Ortiz overall, I'm just saying Ortiz, he's kind of chinny. You know, he is kind of chinny. If you hit him with a clean enough shot, you can drop him. You know, you can make him, you know, you can hurt him a little. You can make him stumble a little bit. You know, Ortiz other flaws, like I said, he's too tough for his own good. Him being the southpaw that he is, great counterpuncher. I mean, excellent counterpuncher, and know how to snipe you with that left hand from far out. You would think he would stick to that, but again, he like finds opportunities to get in and get into the mix with certain fighters that he shouldn't do it with, and it's fun to watch, but it's a flaw, you know. And then sometimes he lunges with that left hand. He actually lunges with it a lot. You know, as I was doing more film study, he steps in from way too far out sometimes, and he leaves himself open to get countered himself. You know, Wilder countered him before. I could see Andy Ruiz counter him. You know, I could see him possibly countering him in this fight. The thing is with Ruiz is that he's he likes to throw a lot of hooks and looping shots. He throws very, very wide, but he likes to throw the combination. So whenever he's in range, he throws combinations. I think with him, though, with Arreola did a good job at countering with the hook in between Ruiz's hooks. So Arreola would, have that high guard and then hook right in between Ruiz's, wide shots. You know what I'm saying? His flurry. And he did a good job, and he kept continuously hurting Ruiz with that. I think Ortiz is very capable of doing the same thing. I seen Ortiz hurt Deontay Wilder in the first fight in the 7th round with a hook. Wilder threw a straight right hand. Wilder had the momentum at the moment. He had already dropped Ortiz. He was getting off. He was landing some good right hands. Got a little greedy, threw a right hand. Ruiz hooked at the same time, caught Wilder, hurt Wilder. We all know what happened in that 7th round. I think that if Ortiz is able to set up and time that same shot, he could probably hurt Andy Ruiz the same exact way. All right, so I think the thing is, again, with Ortiz, he's a bit chinny. I think Andy Ruiz is capable of getting hurt. We've seen him down. We seen him down in the first Joshua's fight. We seen him down against Arreola. We've seen him hurt before. But I think Andy Ruiz has the better legs. I think he has a tougher chin between the two. We seen him down, but we never actually seen him really hurt. Anytime he went down, he got back up, and he didn't look too bad. You know what I'm saying? He's never almost gotten knocked out. I mean, we saw what he did to Joshua right after him getting dropped. You know what I'm saying? So he recovers very well, where Ortiz, the older guy, I don't think he has the best legs. I think if anybody is more capable of getting hurt, I would say Ortiz. But I do believe, even at 43 years old, I do believe that Ortiz still has the better ability. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think he really sticks to his game plans well. Because he likes a good fight. He likes to get the knockout, and he takes the risk. He takes chances, and he wants to show you that he's a tougher guy. Even when he gets caught, he never wants to make it look like he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that could be a major downfall of his in this fight. I'm kind of in the same place that I was a couple weeks back with Joshua and Usyk. I did pick Usyk at the end, even though I was rooting for Joshua, and I felt my heart was going for AJ, because not only did I want him to win, but I feel like AJ do have the ability to beat Usyk. It's just how many times, I think he would just have to fight the perfect fight to win against Usyk. Whereas here, I do believe Ortiz. I am rooting for Ortiz. Longtime fan of Ortiz. I like Ruiz too, but I'm more of a fan of Ortiz. And I do believe that Ortiz has the better ability. All right, I think he can do more. I think he's more skillful. He has the power. You know what I'm saying? The size. He knows how to use distance well. He's such a good counterer. But my head is telling me Ruiz is going to win this fight simply because there's going to be a period where I think even Ortiz is doing well and have the advantage. I think Ruiz can hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Not just drop him, because I do think both fighters are going to get dropped at some point in this fight. I do believe that both are going to get dropped. I think these guys, it's like two trains going straight at each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't see neither one of them backing down from the other. You know? But I feel that if Ortiz get clipped, he might actually be hurt. Maybe not enough to stop him, but he might actually be hurt. Whereas Ruiz, I think he's going to get caught. All right? I think it's going to be a flash knockdown. I think he's going to recover and continue. I can't see him really getting stopped. It's possible, but I can't see it at this point. Maybe if Ortiz was a little bit younger, maybe we could get a stoppage from him. But I think Ruiz is just better when it comes to the chin. Never had great defense. Never was a slick fighter. You know, I mean, you go back and watch Andy Ruiz against, I don't know, Tor Hamer or something. You know, guy's always been getting hit all over. You know, he's been getting punched. Parker landed a lot of body shots. Dude's always been tough. He's chubby, but he's always been a tough dude. With that being said, you know, I see Ruiz winning a decision. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be a lot of action. I think both fighters are going to get dropped at some point. But I think Ruiz is going to win. And it's going to be because there's going to be rounds where Ortiz is winning. He's landing cleaner. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be landing straight left hands. He's going to be landing right hooks. He's going to catch Ruiz here and there. He's going to be winning rounds, or he's going to be up in rounds, and then he's going to get clipped with something during the exchanges, and he's going to hurt Ruiz. I originally picked Ortiz, but I'm going with Andy. You know, at the end, again, my head, I got to go with what my head is telling me, or my brain is telling me Ruiz is going to win this one. My heart is telling me that it's going to be Ortiz. And I normally don't go with my heart because it's just a feeling. You know what I'm saying? Again, they both been hurt in their last fights, but it looks a little different when Ortiz get hurt. You know, when he get hurt, he is 43. I got to put that into account here. He is 43. And if it does go to a decision, and if politics come into a place here, you kind of want Ruiz to win because we want that the Wilder fight. You know, that's the one PBC big fight that we haven't gotten yet. And, you know what I'm saying? That fight makes a lot of sense. And it's going to draw a lot of money if Wilder beats Helenius, which I'm expecting him to. And Ruiz wins this fight tomorrow night. All right. But I have Ruiz winning a decision. I think, like I said, we could see a stoppage here, but you know, I don't think Ruiz as aggressive as he is. So is Ortiz. I don't think Ruiz is that much of a finisher type of guy. You know, I know he stopped Joshua, but he's not really that much of a finisher. He's just not, you know, on the elite level. In Ortiz, as much as he has power, you know, I don't see him stopping Ruiz. I can see him beating him to a decision. So I have a decision win with Ruiz. Very 50-50 with it, though. All right. Rooted for Ortiz, but I'll be here tomorrow. I will be here covering the fight live. So be sure to come through, check me out, and we'll have a good time tomorrow. All right. I'll see you guys then. Peace.